Hello accounts people, time to have a look at cashbook posting. So just to remind you, cashbooks are a book of prime entry. They usually are part of the double entry system. We'll deal with when it isn't part of the double entry at the end of the video. And the problems are usually down to interpretation. So cashbook debit side will only be receipts. In this case, a variety of sources. We've got some VAT, a cash sale and credit customers. That's all we've actually got. The details column won't necessarily be visible. And the credit side is all our payments, whether it's cash or bank. So this is a 2-column analysed one. You would anticipate a lot more headings in a credit side of a cash book. So again, we're paying suppliers, making some cash purchases, we've got some bank charges. However, what AAT don't show you in the exam would make it much easier to understand what's happening. So this is our cash book as it was completed, albeit a very small one. Started off with £50 cash, a cash sale of £90 plus 18 VAT, 118, total 158. It's got to be that way around because you can't have negative cash. However, banks of course can be overdrawn. This one was, they've had £8,974 in from a credit customer. Should help clear an overdraft. And actually, if you have a look at our payment side, because this is the same one, same business. Yes, they started off £2,000 overdraw and they've only spent £5,875 paying suppliers. They've had a cash purchase and they've had some bank charges, carried down amounts, which is why the column totals for cash and bank should be the same. So let's post this one without wrong click, hide, because we post totals from books of prime entry into our ledgers. So it doesn't matter which way around we do it. We can work from the left to the right, right to the left, or mixed. The VAT, the column heading, not the cash and bank, that'll only be when it's not part of the double entry system. So our £18 VAT belongs to our cash sale. Sales are always credits, so is the VAT on sales. And then we are now crediting our customers' accounts. Could be one, or could be this one's one, but it could be loads of different customers. So if you had a question about the customer's account in the sales ledger, that will also be a credit entry, the same as the control account. And then our sales of course are always net and always credits, and the VAT belongs to the sale. So our payment side, then we'll leave this up just to show what's actually happening. Again, it's VAT. Doesn't matter how many items are in there. It could be, we just post the totals. We're now paying. The VAT in this case belongs to the cash purchase, so it's got to be a debit. And our payables account, our 5875, debits, credit the bank, debit the control account. Purchases are always debits. Very rarely will you see a credit entry in, either a correction or somebody taking some goods, a sole trader. And then our bank charges are an expense. So as you would expect, we're only going to see debit entries into that account. Credit the bank or credit cash. Other entries are debits. So students getting a mess on this, it's usually trying to mix up the debits and credits like a day book, thinking they have to balance, and of course they don't, because we've already got the credit entries. We are now just posting the debit entries. So other versions of the question that are around, whether it's in practice papers or it comes up in the exam, this one won't be quite so full. You wouldn't expect to see numbers on both sides of VAT, and you'd either expect to see a purchase or a sales, otherwise there's too many entries for the marks for the task. Again, they're missing out all the rows. So we can see, starting off with £70, how do we know that? Well, actually, we can unhide a few more bits and pieces. That didn't do. Why didn't that work? Unhide. That's better. Details columns. So our details would have shown brought down balances, £70 cash, 2,085 in the bank, money coming in from some cash sales and from a credit customer, some cash purchases coming out the cash, total of 360 between the two, and paying a supplier 2,400, balanced off or carried down anyway. And of course the column totals are the same. So they have to be the same for cash and bank. It's a T account. Might be, as we mentioned, some blanks here or there. So let's post them. So colour coded just to help us. All we've actually posted is the VAT, receivables and cash sales. We're still not on the question where it's not a part of the double entry system. So we're going to have VAT, the £80 relates to a sale, and our receivables, our 2,500 is a credit entry, and sales, may say cash sales of course, could be lots of other versions of sales, online sales or all sorts of sales, or even commission. Still credit entries though, debit the bank, other entries credit. And then because we've got both sides of our cash book, we've got the debit sides and the credit sides, the other entries are all going to be debit. Trying to help. And similar to the previous question, we've got £80 VAT, we're paying a supplier 4585, or could be multiple suppliers of course, and then our purchase of £400 plus VAT, all on the debit sides. So again, the other entry is the other side of the cash book. It's just that this version has debit and credit sides of the cash book. So the rare question then, cash book as prime entry only, not part of the double entry. By and large, the entries are going to be the same. So those are the same entries as we've just done. It's just that we've got extra entries for the money coming in to cash and bank, and the money going out, cash and bank. What does this do? Well, you wouldn't expect to see brought down totals. The manager or supervisor will keep a little control account. It means the ledger clerk doesn't need to understand the entries too much. It can be a simple spreadsheet and doesn't need to see the amounts in the bank account or know how much cash is available in the business. So we're going to post this. Now, when we're posting these, we could do with the extra help of seeing the rows not hidden. But I'm going to hide these so we can just see it all on the same screen. So what we're now doing is a cash entry. So our cash, we started off with 70. Well, that be the brought down balance in our cash control account. So actually what we need to post is just the 480. And we need to show that in our cash it's now a debit entry. And on our credit side, our cash, we haven't spent 550, we've actually spent 360 because the 190s are carried down. So we need to show that we have spent £360 cash. And that makes that a credit entry. So for our bank account, that was a brought down balance. We've actually only had 2,500 in, not the 4,585. So again, we needed to know that to post it correctly. And it's money coming in to our bank account. And then we need to record the money going out of our bank account. Well, how much went out? Not the 4,585, but actually just the 2,400 because that's carried down. Credit our bank account, and those bank and cash items will be posted into a separate little control account, and this is what this one would look like. So our cash started off with 70, £480 in, 368 giving us our balance of 190, and our bank account starting off with 2,085, 2,500 in, 2,400 out, telling us that we've now got 2,185. These little control accounts kept by manager or supervisor to save our operatives, our ledger clerks, knowing how much money is in our bank and cash.